From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of evenings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over not one, but four major breaking news stories this weekend that impact your fourth stimulus check. One, calling for the vote. Second, another one with congressional leaders stepping forward and saying, don't wait any longer, call the vote. The president stepping in and having his message about calling the vote. And finally, a message from Democratic House members saying the multiple stimulus checks will be in there. What an incredible series of events. In this recording, we go over the multiple stimulus checks, how much you're going to get, and how these monthly stimulus checks work. Then we get in the second half of this recording, we go over fifth stimulus. That'll raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, and then add a new benchmark. Incredible great news. And the great news is not ending there, with big money, tens of thousands of dollars landing in your bank account, and some landing in the mailbox, that thing outside. That thing outside, that thing that you maybe don't use that often, but it's all really exciting, great news. I'm going to go over how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and who has it for you. It's a big evening. It's a Sunday evening. I'm really excited for you with all this jaw-dropping great news. We're starting right now on Evenings LALATE. Good evening, everybody. Hope you are doing wonderful. How are you? It is cool and breezy, and the sun is about to set here in Santa Monica, Los Angeles. How's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from, and tell me how the weather is tonight in your town this Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining me. In this recording, we're going over the fourth stimulus check, the monthly stimulus check, and then the breaking news. Not less than four major breaking developing details that are impacting your fourth stimulus down to the day of the vote. Wow, this is getting very exciting. Also, in the second half of this video, we go over fifth stimulus. That'll raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits, and also survivor benefits. Incredible, great news. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money landing in the mailbox. And it is thousands, tens of thousands of dollars available to you potentially. I'm going to go over all those details. But first, subscribe. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Breaking YouTube records with 400,000 subscribers in its first year. Next stop, 1 million. So get us there. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. More about the membership later in this video. But let's jump into the fourth stimulus and why it's important to know this name for later in the recording. The name is Jalapal. Jalapal wrote the House proposal of the multiple stimulus checks. Actually, it's a bill, not a proposal. And when Jalapal introduced the bill, the provisions were fascinating. Let's go over the Jalapal bill versus the Senate. So the Jalapal House bill provides a stimulus check monthly, starting now for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal is a stimulus check from now to December. And if you're on the live chat just after 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, get ready to vote, House or Senate, but not just yet. Let's look at that amount of check. The House proposal for the House bill from Jalapal provides $1,000 a month after the first month. The Senate amount is unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 over the 6 months, $8,400 a person. That is incredible. But now let's circle back to why Jalapal's bill may get some revisions. At issue is the terminology of pandemic plus 1 year. Well, many insiders believe that the pandemic may be over by the time of the vote. And if that's true, then Jalapal's bill would provide stimulus checks for 1 year, not pandemic plus 1 year, which then, according to Jalapal's bill, would add up to $13,000 over 12 months compared to the Senate, which is nearly the same amount in just 6 months. So now, jump in the live chat, or if you're watching this tape, jump in the comments and vote House or Senate. Which one do you prefer, House or Senate? Wow. So let's go over who gets this, how much it is, and all the great news across the board. First, who gets it? You do. So if you got the third stimulus check, you would get the fourth stimulus check. 75,000 an individual or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, you would get the fourth stimulus check. Household 4 or less, you would get the fourth stimulus check. So no, not all the Brady Bunch family members would get one. And then SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, you would get the fourth stimulus check. The amount of the stimulus check is the same for adult dependents, minor dependents, everyone else. Great news across the board on that one. We don't know if it's taken out for child support, but it's not taxable. It's not income. And there would be no waves of stimulus checks because there's no time. They have to send out the stimulus check month after month. Finally, we have the representations from Congress. Remember, I'm just a reporter. I don't make representations, they do. And their representations is the bill would go to a vote no later than July 4th. That means that the first stimulus check would be in the month of July, for the month of July. And then in August, for the month of August. There would be no waves of stimulus checks. They can't do waves because they have to land monthly. And there you go. It's a 2-bill, 2-month, 2-step process currently underway and nearly finished with the writing. All they need is the vote. And more about that vote and the incredible great news that's impacting your fourth stimulus coming up in just a second. But first, let me give you a preview of the second half of this video. In the second half of this video, we go over fifth stimulus and we go over how it works and why the inflationary benchmark is really the game changer. First, they're going to raise your benefits up across the board if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, or veterans benefits. And then they're going to apply a new benchmark. Well, that benchmark we all know is inflation, but what's the inflation rate? And if that inflation rate is very high, like a Jeremy Siegel 20%, boy, that would be life-changing. But even if it's 5%, it would really just change your life. I'll have more about that breaking details in the second half of this video. But let's cut to the thousands and thousands of dollars landing in your bail box, and you don't want to miss it. And I'm going to go over it starting right now. So it's incredibly important for you to know where money is available for you and what it's from. Third stimulus, which is already law, as opposed to fourth stimulus, which we're still talking about, has a lot of money, and a lot of that money is now coming available. And when third stimulus was passed, I said, I want you to get that money. And now it's landing. $250 billion of it's landing, and it's landing in across the board, cities, counties, and states. So how do you get it? I hope you get a pen and paper ready because I got a lot of money for you in this video. It's a 30-minute video, so stay to the very end. I got surprises about big money, and I don't want you to miss any of it. And I have a lot of information, so stay to the very end. Let's get that money starting right now. $5,000 of rent approximately is available for you because $350 billion has been sent from the government to the cities, counties, and states. How do you get it and where is it? Let's go over all the incredible details. So the federal government has sent out all this money available to you at your city, county, and state. And let's go through the details. First, where do you get it? City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. The key words you use is rent assistance because of COVID. You don't use the word stimulus. And you reach out to them, and all of them have different eligibility criterion. So one may say no, and another one may say yes. So don't stop at a no. Continue until you see a yes. And it's about $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Incredible, great news. Then there is money for renters' utilities, homeowners' utilities, and homeowners' mortgage. It's absolutely incredible. Go get that money because it is absolutely incredible. Then I got more money for you on top of that as well, and that is the money for SNAP. What is SNAP? It is money for food. Where do you get it from? Department of Agriculture. 211 can also connect you to Department of Agriculture. How much money is SNAP? It's a lot. It's family of four in Hawaii is now seeing upwards of $16,000 a year. Yes, really, $16,000 a year. Why so much? Because of 2 executive orders which raised it up 15% for 1 year from January to December. So go get it. Those 2 executive orders, Biden and Trump. Incredible. 15% raise up for everyone till December. So how we do it? $16,000 for SNAP for family of four in Hawaii, and about $5,000 for rent in California. We are doing really well. We're only 9 minutes of this video. But guess what? I got thousands of dollars for you landing right now. And this one's these are automatic. Not one, but 2 of them. Let's get to the first one. First, how much? Second, how do you get it? And third, when are you going to get it? All right, let's go over the great details. First, there is thousands of dollars landing back in your hands from your state. One viewer is getting $5,000. Let's go over the details. First, what is it? The federal government has ordered states to return money back to you that they had paid you by accident and asked you to return back to them. What's at issue? The federal government identified states overpaying some recipients unemployment benefits due to computer malfeasance and then ordering the recipients to return it back to the states. Federal government says that was a mistake. You should not have had to do that. It was your money to keep. Wow. So the federal government has now ordered those states to return the money back to you. It's incredible. So the next question is, how do you get this money? It's from the manner in which you normally receive your unemployment benefits for the state. Finally, when? When are you receiving these benefits? Well, every state is automatic. Every state is different. So reach out to your state for routing times. Great news. One viewer is getting upwards of $5,000. I can't believe it. Just incredible. All right, let's turn to the next incredible amount of money. And it's coming from the federal government. And it's for your taxes paid on your unemployment benefits. Wow. How much? How are you going to get it? And when are you going to get it? The how is very important. So stay with me. This is all new for Sunday. First, how much you're going to get. How much you're going to get? Well, it's based upon the amount of taxes you paid on your unemployment benefits to the federal government. So, for example, let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. Your total tax bill for 2020 to IRS was $7,000, of which $5,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting $5,000 back. Wow, incredible, great news. Second, how. This is new for Sunday here on LALATE. The how is critical because a lot of people don't normally receive checks from IRS or Treasury, so don't know what to expect. It's a beige or white envelope with a beige check in there, written from Treasury IRS to you. Everyone knows that because I've detailed that recently. But here's what you don't know, is that if you've never seen one of these checks, they are laser thin, people. They are just laser thin. They are so skinny. They're like a Tic Tac. They're just so skinny. So any bad mail carrier could potentially slide it in between your taco takeout menu or your local throwaway for the supermarket. So you have to go through that mail very slowly over the next few days. Do not throw it away. We've done this video before where people are throwing away stimulus checks. Don't throw away this one because this is a lot more than a stimulus check. Next, when are you going to get it? 3 phases, all 3 phases being paid by the end of May. Phase 1 has already been paid. Single filers, not complicated returns. Phase 2 has already started going into next week. Single filers, complicated returns with dependents. And phase 3 are joint filers like husband and wife. Incredible, great news. And with that, let's turn to the really bombshell, insanely great news. I'm just so excited for you. Coming from your legislators, Senate and House. I'm going to go through them chronologically as to the first one and then bring it all up to the present and I'll explain to you why this is so incredible. Fourth stimulus. Its bill from Jalapal provided a monthly stimulus check as detailed early in this recording. And when Jalapal introduced the bill to the House, over 100 plus House Democrats and more Senate Democrats as well came in favor of Jalapal's bill and wrote a letter to the president saying, we're going to put multiple stimulus checks in there. And the Senate said that it's much the same as well. Well, guess what Jalapal did just days ago? Wrote Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi a letter saying, call the vote. What are we waiting for? Call the vote. What is Jalapal referring to? The reconciliation vote. The bills have been finished, and all they have to do is call the vote, says Jalapal. So what's at issue here? No longer waiting for a counterproposal from the Republicans, who have not moved a penny since their $500 billion offer on day one. So Jalapal basically says, what are we waiting for? Just call the vote. And Jalapal's letter is signed by dozens of legislators who are the same people who signed the multiple stimulus check bills. Wow. Incredible. And that brought us to this letter. And this letter is just jaw-dropping. It's to the President of the United States, telling the President of the United States that these authors of this letter, 7 of them, legislators, will work with the President to put the multiple stimulus checks in the 4th stimulus package. This is just great. It gets better, though. The people who wrote this letter, the 7 of them, are on the House Ways and Subcommittee that actually does the stimulus check writing for purposes of the House. Remember, there's a lot of different subcommittees. One for health, that does health. One for education, that does education. This is the one that does stimulus checks. Incredible, great news. And all those, which is a small subcommittee, 7 of them write the president saying, we're going to work with you to put those multiple stimulus checks in there. Wow, is that Captain Obvious walking behind me? It's just, it doesn't get any better than that. And then what else? Well, the president gave us the third shocker, and that came from him on Friday. When the president basically came back to the Republicans and said, I'm not counteroffering with my offer. What I'll do, the president said, is I'll take $600 billion out of my forced stimulus, but it was already items that were somewhere else in another bill. So he just redefined his bill. He didn't change his price tag. And this came after the Republicans, since day one, have never changed in their proposal, $500 billion, always the same number, which the president won't do. The president has made very clear to his legislators that come Memorial Day weekend, all negotiations, which have not been fruitful, end with the Republicans. Off we go to reconciliation vote. Wow, this is incredible. So what is he doing? He is basically saying, you get the bills ready by writing my Democrats and get ready for the vote, because I'm not going to do any more talks with Republicans after Memorial Day weekend. To which one viewer said, is that September? No, it's May. It's just a few days away. So he's going to have those daily lunches with Republicans day after day all the way up to May, because he's very hungry, as one viewer said. And he hasn't sampled all the different ways to make chicken at the White House. There's a lot of more ways to sample the chicken. They tried the fried and the saute. They're trying other versions of the poached. They're just, I don't know. He just has to have lunch every single day with the Republicans because he's hungry. And then he is done with it. Then the vote happens. And then, if that was not enough, Captain Obvious is walking back and saying, oh, mention the other legislators. Yeah, so these legislators, they never tell you what they're doing. They never do. Even AOC once said, they just give you the bill 10 minutes before you're supposed to vote and say, here, vote. So what do the legislators do this week as well? They came forward and said, call the vote. What are we waiting for? Just call the vote. And it's absolutely incredible. It starts with Senator Kristen Gillibrand. Yes, a senator, Democrat of New York, when asked whether they should wait to call the vote. Absolutely not, she says, because we may lose our coalition for human infrastructure. I do not think the White House should relegate recovery to the judgment of Mitch McConnell, because McConnell will not function in good faith. And then Ruben Gallego, Democrat out of Arizona, says the Republicans are not even being players, and Democrats just move on without them, finish the reconciliation, call the vote. Representative Mark Pocan, Democrat of Wisconsin, says, at what point do Republicans seriously come to the table? If Republicans don't come to the table, it doesn't mean Democrats don't serve the meal. That's referring to forced stimulus. And then Senator Majority Whip Dick Durbin says Democrats ought to have a timely negotiation with Republicans, but Democrats need to be prepared to finish with reconciliation. And then if Ro Khanna, representative out of California, who's never cautious with words, Khanna says, I think Democrats should move forward with our bill. There we go. That's about as good as you get. Wow. Incredible. But in all this great news, there is another surprise of something else that may be in forced stimulus. Yeah, we are far from done. So I got more about your forced stimulus after the commercial break, and I got all the incredible news about this stimulus and the raising up of your benefits in an additional step up. That's coming up in the second half of this recording. But first, if you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, internet, or homeowners utilities, reach out to the volunteers. They can find that money for you across the board. The volunteers are in the description to this video. Open the description to this video and reach out to them. The description has an emoji that sends you to the link news.la.com/community. The volunteers are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram on a page that lists a very cute cat. Reach out to them, and I will be back with you in about 60 seconds with more about your fourth and fifth stimulus. Stay with me. Or I will be. I didn't hit the button. Okay, there we go. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on evenings LALATE across the land. Hope the weather is good where you are. Tell me where you're tuning in from. If you're just joining me live, direct from the West Coast. What a big night it is. I have more coming up in the second half of this recording about fifth stimulus, about fourth stimulus, and that surprise in fourth stimulus. Wow. But first, subscribe. This is LALATE, breaking YouTube records with 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. So get us there quickly. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. More about membership in just a second. Fifth stimulus heats up in the September with that add-on, and that add-on is not stimulus checks, but SSI and SSDI reform. It's a two-bill, two-step process, just like fourth stimulus. And what does it provide? Let's go over all the deliciousness. First, they're going to increase your benefits, then remove the asset cap, add an inflationary benchmark, and then remove the income exclusion and the marriage penalty. All right, let me go over what that means, and let's go over the breaking news impacted across the board. First, they're going to raise your benefits up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, and more. And if you're on multiple benefits as well, they'll raise it up to a big new number. That would be your big number going forward. Incredible great news. Then they're attaching a benchmark, which will be used to determine whether to step up your benefits or keep them flat year after year. What's in a benchmark? What is a benchmark? Every December you get a letter that says, hi, next year your benefits will go up or stay the same. They never step down. So here's an example. Let's say the benchmark is 10% inflation. Then you would step up 10%. If the next year is zero, you don't step down. You stay at that plus 10%. So the breaking news is that we're trying to see where this inflationary rate will land in December. We're getting a lot of new indications as to where it may be. Inflation is the benchmark for this fifth stimulus. So you would get the step up plus inflation. Jeremy Siegel a week ago said, well, maybe the inflation is 20%. That would step you up 20%. But many think that maybe that's just too high. So what could be possible? Well, the Federal Reserve talked about out of Georgia, Federal Reserve chair out of Georgia said, growth will go from 4% now to 10.5% by December. That's not 2% inflation, folks. That's a lot more. So in the last 2 days, a series of analysts have come forward and they basically said, somewhere between maybe 4 to 7% inflation. And we're far from over the discussion, it's still very fluid. So let's say it's 5% inflation. That's incredible great news. Basically, your fifth stimulus would raise your benefits up, and then they would step you up another 5% in December for next year. Wow. And year after year, you would always be plus 5%. You would never step down. Just incredible great news. So let's go over the other money that is in the fifth stimulus in addition to this SSI reform. Well, in addition to the step up. So for the purpose of the SSI reform, they're also going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits or receive assets. It'll be gone. So if you want to hold more than $3,000 on hand, you will be able to, including some stimulus checks. And then the SSI reform will remove the income exclusion. The income exclusion says you can't stay on benefits and also work. So now if you do want to work $1,000, $2,000 a month, you could. And finally, the marriage penalty, one of the most severe items that needs to be gone, and it would be gone. The marriage penalty penalizes you if you get married. You lose your benefits. And if you are married, you lost them. So what would they do? Get rid of the marriage penalty. Incredible great news. So you would be able to marry your lifetime love interest and get that money. You wouldn't have to worry about losing benefits. And if you are married and lost benefits, those would be fixed as well. Wow, what incredible great news. So now let's go back to fourth stimulus. Before that, let me go over when would you get this stimulus from fifth. Fifth would land around November in your bank potentially. It would start in September, finish in maybe October, 2 months to process, but it would take about another month for it to get there. And then the step up would, based upon inflation, the benchmark would be next year. Incredible, great news. So let's go back to fourth stimulus. And what's important to understand is that fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and third stimulus are now virtually overlapping in a given news cycle. And that's why membership is very important. The membership link's at the top of this channel, the pinned comment. In the month of July, third stimulus will be sending out children's checks. This week, third stimulus is allowing you to go get rent and mortgage and utility assistance. And while there's a lot of things happening at the same time, people are confusing different stimulus packages. So no, in July, there's no less than 3 things happening. Third stimulus checks are going out to children. Fourth stimulus, multiple stimulus checks go for a vote in the fourth stimulus package. And also for a vote in July is the budget bill, which has nothing to do with us whatsoever. So there's a lot of bills at the same time. Even Jalapal has several bills. But the great news is that when we look at those multiple stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package, legislators want them because they get you caught up in your bills. America is getting back to work. America may have jobs now. You may be out of the pandemic. You may have your mask mandate lifted where you live, but you may still have past due bills. That's why the Senate proposal looks the most ideological, theoretically similar to where Republicans and Democrats are thinking. You need a big cash infusion to get caught up on your bills. And yes, you may be working. Husband and wife may be both working, but if you're behind on your bills, you're behind on your bills. There's no way around it. And stimulus checks is what fixes it. It's incredible, great news. Meantime, the other things that you need to know is that when we talk about certain things, it's important to understand where and how they're landing. When we talk about forced stimulus and we talk about things that we've always gotten accustomed to, some of them may not be coming back. So when I talked about early in this video, the rental assistance under third stimulus, it's not coming back. It's not coming back. Rent, eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, rental stimulus, rental assistance, utility assistance, homeowners' mortgages, not coming back under fourth stimulus. So I want you to get that money right now. It's important to understand that when third stimulus passed, I said, this is one of the big enchiladas for you. You're going to get a stimulus check, but you qualify for about $5,000 to $25,000 of additional money. Go get it. More importantly, it's not coming back again. And it's first come, first serve. Purple Hawk. You got a pound to get that money before anyone else. But the big surprise, and here comes that surprise, I promise you, is that those legislators from House Ways and Means Committee, which oversees unemployment stimulus, say in their letter they're going to work with, they've informed the president they want to work with him for extending unemployment stimulus in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Now, this is a very fluid situation because I didn't think these items were going to come back. But while it may not be FPUC, it may be PEUC, which is extension of UI benefits for additional weeks. It may be PUA, which Ron Wyden sort of has a standalone bill for. And it may be something else. It may be modifying the language from voluntary to mandatory to ensure that states do get that money out to citizens, even if the federal government's paying for it. This is really surprising. So in this recording, a lot of big surprises. First, the fourth stimulus check, a monthly stimulus check, would be the biggest single payout you've seen in the history of this channel. Second, legislators now saying call the vote. Don't wait around any longer. What are we waiting around for? Third, legislators confirmed that they're going to work with the president to put those multiple stimulus checks in there because remember, legislators write the law, not the president. Fifth stimulus heats up. Well, if it's trying to really figure out where the inflation rate's going to be in December, because that would be the second step up of your benefits. And then finally, the big exciting news about thousands of dollars landing, whether it's the federal government or the state government. Watch that mail carefully. Don't be throwing away checks. We aren't tracking checks, we're cashing checks, but we also can't be throwing away checks because if you throw away the checks, there's nothing to cash. Watch that mail very carefully in the next few days. Meantime, if you have questions or comments, drop them in the comments below. I might try to answer them. I'm next back with you as more excitement continues and heats up in just 2 hours from now with our new hit show, Evenings Crypto. I'll be going over the crypto crash, not one, but 2 crashes, and now it's this weekend's crash. As the market continues to downturn, I'll explain it to you. Then we go into our overnight show, our 12-hour program called LALATE Overnight Crypto. join that hit show, which has absolutely been breaking and trending on Twitter. So with that, I want you to subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. Next stop, 1 million. If you missed Afternoons LA before this recording, go watch it. It is now archived on the channel. So subscribe. Also like this video. 3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, so you don't get confused what's in third stimulus, fourth stimulus, or fifth stimulus, with all the PDFs delivered to you daily. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful evening. Don't miss a beat. Don't miss a stimulus check. Don't throw it away. And, you know, if you join me tomorrow morning, can you at least bring some bacon? Have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you 2 hours from now as LA continues with LALATE Evenings.